20, 25 ways, and yet you could be the person who would still find out a new way because the demand of your sales organization may be very different from the demand of this particular sales organization. What we are going to discuss today is the workload. So the three ways are workload method, sales potential, and incremental method. We will discuss the workload method first, and you will have to work with me. So what is the workload method? The workload method, as the name says, is you understand the total work that is required out of a sales organization, and you divide it by the work that can be done by one salesperson, and you get how many salespeople you need. Simple, right? So total work of a sales organization, go back to your mathematics, maths class way back in 7th or 8th class, total work, and divided by the work done by one person, and you get how many salespeople you need. So let's understand it more with a practical example. So here is a hypothetical company, and this hypothetical company has classified its customers in three categories: large, medium, and small. Does it make sense? Can we have customers classified as large, medium, small? And what do we mean by large, medium, small? Would anyone like to contribute? Or do I continue? Would anyone like to contribute? Okay. Since nobody's talking, so I'll contribute. I'll let you know. So when we say large, medium, and small, look at any organization. They will not be, take a simple organization. So since you people were here in Viman Nagar, you're all familiar with Dorabji. If we look at Dorabji also, so I'm just trying to give you an example which you're familiar with. Every customer who walks in will not buy the same quantity, right? There will be some customers who might buy goods just only worth 100 rupees. There might be another customer who would buy goods worth maybe 2,000 rupees. And there may be a third customer who may buy goods worth maybe 5,000 or 6,000 rupees. Right? Let me explain it in more detail. So let's assume that let's take an example of a bank. Now, in a bank, there are people who have accounts. There may be some people who have only 5,000 in their account. There may be some people who have most probably 1 lakh in their account. And there may be some people who have most probably 20, 25 lakhs in their account, right? Now, is every customer important? Of course, customers are extremely important for any business, whether it's that person who's buying goods worth only 100 rupees or keeping only 5,000 rupees in the account, or whether it's a customer who's keeping 25 lakh rupees or buying goods worth whatever, 5,000, 6,000 from Dorabji. However, please understand that even among customers, there is a difference. If somebody has put something in the chat box, it's difficult for me to shift into screens, and I would really appreciate if you just unmute yourself and say something. What if you have to? I mean, I just thought, yes.
Nothing, ma'am. I was just giving an example of insurance companies as well. Like some customers give high business value and high premiums, and some
Yes.
not so much.
Yes, fantastic. Yes, just unmute yourself and speak, because between shifting of the screen, sometimes it becomes difficult for me. Just unmute yourself like
Yes,
you
ma'am.
would in a class,
I don't want to disturb you, so I just thought I'd keep it in the chat. But yeah,
Please,
I'll do that.
please do disturb me, then I don't feel as if I'm talking to a computer. Okay.
Yes.
So please understand, as I said, when you also have an organization tomorrow, or whether you join an organization tomorrow, you too will have different types of customers. These customers may be so there may be customers who only put a small volume. There may be customers who put a large volume. And is every customer important? Of course, every customer is important, but we cannot treat all of them equally. For those of you who attended my classes way back in the second semester, my famous dialogue used to be, yes, customer is a king, but kings के भी level होते हैं. कोई बादशाह होता है, कोई शहंशाह होता है, और कोई newborn होता है. And therefore, a person who has only 5,000 rupees in his account, yes, he's important to us because such people generate volume, which means that the number of people who would have 5,000 in their account would be huge. Maybe if that is so, I cannot ignore them. However, what are their expectations? Their expectations most probably is only a checkbook and a ATM card. On the other hand, the customer who has 25, 30 lakhs in the account will be few. But what are But one customer is most probably equivalent to so many of those small customers. And what are their expectations? Well, most probably they want the bank to come to their house. And that's why they have those dedicated executives. So whether it's a large customer or whether it's a small customer, all are important to us. But we need to understand that the way we will treat a large customer will be different from the way that I will treat a small customer. The expectations of a large customer are different, and the expectations of a small customer are different. Also, if you look at these figures, which is very natural, the number of large customers would always be less as compared to number of small customers. So here I'm talking about value, and here I'm talking about volume. These are the basics of business, how business runs. So the moment I classify my customer, that's why I always say customer is a king, but please understand even kings have levels and treat them accordingly. The moment this company classified its customer into different categories, which a good company should. So they have large, medium, and small. They have large, which has 150 accounts. They have medium, they have classified where they have 220 accounts, and they have small, which has 510 accounts. Okay, so they want to further understand that how many people they should have. So what did they do? They tried to understand the workload, because what is the workload method? The workload method says that what is the total workload of a company divided by how much work one salespeople person can do. So for them, Class A customers, what were the Class A customers? The large customers. They need 60 minutes per call. Compare it with Class C customers. They only need 15 minutes per call. Why? Because this person is giving you a huge volume. This person, the amount that they are investing is huge, and therefore, as I said, you cannot treat the customers equally. You need to give them more attention. They would demand more attention. So that person who has 25, 30 lakhs in the account, yes, he wants the executive to come to his house or office or whatever and spend some time with him or her and explain the financial investments or wherever the bank wants them to invest money. So they say every call should be around 60 minutes. Average turns out to be around 60 minutes per call, and we should make around 52 calls per year. So these are the targets that the company has set, understanding that what is the kind of workload that they have to do. Similarly, for Class B, they said 30 minutes per call and 24 calls in a year. Class C, 15 minutes per call and 12 calls per year. Any issues? Any problems till now?
No, ma'am, clear.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Great, fantastic. So can we then work out the total workload of the people? Do you know how to do this? How will we do this? Anyone? Can we work out? Because this is what you have to do. I mean, in the sense that this won't be done for you by the company. This is where you as a sales manager has to do. So there are 150. So what is 60 minutes per call into 52 calls? If you have your phones there with you, let's take only Class A. Oh, it's not 1 minute. Okay, I don't know why I'm not able to write on this.
Ma'am, change the layout of the slide.
Oh, okay. I took a wrong layout. I should take this. Yeah. Okay. So Class A customer, thank you, whoever that was. So Class A customer, and we are told that, 1 minute. We were told 150 accounts. But before that, let's look at this. This says 60 minutes per call and 52 calls. So how many hours? They are only telling us that it is 52 hours per year. So we are talking about 52 hours per year, right? Yes. And this is 52 hours per year for one customer. And how many customers are there? There are 150 customers. So what will we do? 52 into 6 class maths. For one customer, it is 52 hours per year. So for 150 customers, how much would this be? Can somebody tell me?
7,800. 7,800.
7,800 hours, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Fantastic. Great. Okay. Similarly, can someone tell me for class B also? So for class B, it was 12 hours per year, and we have 220 accounts. So 12 into 220. Can someone tell me?
2,640.
2,640. Fantastic. Okay, let's do for class C also. And for class C, it said 3 hours per year, and we have 510 accounts. So 510 into 3.
1530.
1530. Fantastic, right? So can we also now, so this is the different workload for different customers. Can we have a total of this? Can somebody tell me the total also? So 7800 plus 2640 plus 1530.
11,970.
11,970. Fantastic. So we are talking about, so this is the total workload that the company thinks they have for the year. And yippee, we are right. Yes. So we have 11,970 hours. But my next question is, okay, so this is a total workload for the company. But hey, what about the workload of that one salesperson? Because I have to divide that. That has to be the denominator. So the company tells us that the total time available with the salesperson is 40 hours per week, and he works for 48 weeks, which means that while the total workload is 11,970 hours for the company, the workload for one salesperson is 1920 hours per year as per the company. If these are the two figures given by the company, can someone tell me that what is the, how many number of salespeople do we need? Can someone tell me? Do you know how to do this? What will we do?
We divide it, right? I think we get
Fantastic.
6.2.
So somebody is telling me
6.2.
11, 9, okay, so 6.2, 16, 16 or 6.2, what?
6.2.
6.2.
6 to 7 salespeople.
11,970 divided by, that's what you're saying? It was, and how much is this one person?
1920.
1920. How much is it?
6.23.
6.23. So I mean, let's take 6. I don't know how to get 0.23 people. So we see that it says 6. Now, is this correct, or does anyone have any problem, or does everyone agree to it? Is this okay? Or can I just, or does anyone think that just let's spend a minute on this? Is everyone comfortable with this? Anyway, whatever we have done up till now, is everyone comfortable with it? Anyone who's not? I've stopped sharing the screen and most probably now I will share it. Yes. Everyone, up till now, whatever we have done, are you comfortable with it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now we came to 6. Does anyone, I mean, do you think that's correct? Or just because I'm asking, so it is not correct? You know, I have a problem. The moment we look at 6, we have done this on the basis of 40 hours per week and 48 weeks. Let's be honest, when we say 40 hours per week, do you think that person, the salesperson, will be selling all 40 hours? And if not, when will he, and if he's selling all 40 hours, then when will he do the traveling? When will he do the documentation? Because a salesperson, it's not just about sales. I have to come back and document it also. somewhere what we have done during the day, how much sales. You have to create those invoices, you have to create that documentation. When will he do that? Please, when we say that he is working for 40 hours a week, it is inclusive of everything. It is inclusive of his traveling. It is inclusive of his documentation work. It is also inclusive of that little break that he needs. And that's where we as bosses do a mistake. When we think that when we say that, hey, your working is 8 hours per day, when we think that the person will work all 8 hours, that's not possible. That's just not possible, because he will work all 8 hours, but he has to do a lot of different things in those 8 hours. And the salesperson is no different. In those 40 hours, he's only selling, according to the company, 45% of the time. That means 864 hours. He's traveling 25% of the time. Please, traveling is such an important part of a salesperson's job. I mean, how will he sell if he doesn't travel? Yes, COVID has changed those things, and that's why the case study, and there where you will look into it, that how they are reinventing the cycles. And he also has to do the non-selling task, which may be generation of invoice or documenting his work or submitting his report, so many other things. And the moment we do that, the moment we put a realistic figures, and that's where problems happen in business, when we do not see the things realistically. We see the things theoretically. So theoretically, there should be 6 salespeople. Realistically, as a boss, you should be asking, hey, what will you do in those 40 hours? And the moment when you ask, what will you do in those 40 hours? I understand that selling is not happening for 1920 hours, but selling is only happening for 1920 hours. Sorry, 864 hours, right? And the moment then I replace this 11970 divided by 864. Can someone tell me the answer? Can someone tell me the answer?
13.8. So like 13.
So we'll take 13.8, right? So do you see the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Had we gone by theory, had we just taken it theoretically, you would employ 6 salespeople, while realistically you need 14 salespeople. What would happen when you had taken 6 salespeople? You would burden them with the workload of 14 people. Obviously, they will not be able to deliver. They will not be able to deliver, not because they are not good. They will not be able to deliver because you as a boss are not good. But when they are not able to deliver, then you are going to be upset. The targets are not going to be met. The goals are not going to be met. And you will ask them to leave, or they will leave themselves, and you will again get new salespeople, start the cycle again, but never find a solution. Because you did not understand that there was a difference between theory and practical. Therefore, workload method, yes, it's about the total workload of a sales organization divided by the realistic workload of one salesperson. And the moment you put the realistic workload of one salesperson, you get 14 salespeople. Am I making sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Has everyone understood? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. So I think I will leave you at this so that this sinks in you. Because as we progress now with the classes, they're going to be more practical. I mean, honestly, I think right from day one, I've been trying to make them practical, starting with Arogya Setu. But you need to understand that sales job is not a theoretical job. Sales job is a practical job. And therefore, you need to look at things with a practical perspective. And when I say practical perspective, every way, in every situations, as I will show you as we progress further. So this is just one method, the workload method. This is one of the most popular methods. Why? Because it's simple. It's a very simple method. Total workload divided by the workload of one salesperson. However, it is simple if you understand, divided by the workload or realistic workload of one salespeople. So this is very popularly used in the sales organizations, and yet there are complaints that people are not happy because instead of 14, we arrive at 6. There are 2 more methods. We will discuss them as we in the next classes. But tomorrow, what I would like to spend some time is in helping you understand how to write a case study. Any questions? Please shoot. Are we clear?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
somebody wants to. No questions? Okay, fine. So I'll just take the attendance. We'll end the class. And tomorrow, I hope I don't have to put a class in the evening. When do your classes end? When is your last class?
3:30.
3:30.
For everyone? Okay, okay. But you know, this is such a peaceful time. I prefer taking a class now.
Yes, ma'am.
When
Yes,
I'm not bothered by the
No issues at all.
college. Sorry?
No issues at all, as in if
We don't mind, ma'am. It's better
this
as
time.
Pakka, so if tomorrow also I'm flooded with meetings, then we'll take a class in the night only.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
Yes,
Works.
Yes,
more
ma'am. Work.
peaceful for me. And for those colleagues who can't join, who sleep early, please ask them to send me an email. I'll give them attendance. Okay? Fair enough. So I'll just take the attendance